Today on the news and why it matters, Glenn Beck is back. That's our top story.
And blood will shoot out of your eyes.
Well, only Joe Biden's.
Yes.
We watched the crazy climate change debates, so you didn't have to. Okay, I'm just kidding. We didn't watch it, but we do have a best of highlights of it. And is the U.S. getting closer to a brave new world? A lot to get into. It starts right now. Welcome to the news and why it matters. I am Sarah Gonzalez. Today joined by, as I said before, Glenn Beck back in studio.
Yes.
How was California?
It was good. Had a great time with Dave Rubin. Was really excited to be able to make the announcement that he is joining the Blaze, and that is just the first of something that we're going to be announcing before the first of the year, hopefully, that is game-changing. We're really excited.
I hate it when you
I know. I'm like, well, can we know? You guys think that we're in on the secret. We're not. We want to know too. And then we've got Mr. Jason Buttrell, head researcher of the Glenn Beck radio program.
Not recently back from Los Angeles or California.
No.
So
You
not as cool.
recently out of your computer digging for secrets.
Yes, and when I get away from that computer in that hole that you keep me in, it's
Speaking of coming out from the computer,
Hello.
Aaron Colin here from theblaze.com. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Got a lot to get into, but first we want to thank our sponsor, iTarget Pro. Glenn, I know over there in California where you just were, they're not too fond of the guns.
No.
They're not too fond of the guns.
No, they
Would
don't.
they be okay with laser bullets, do you think?
But you'd have to have the gun. I mean, if you don't mind
True.
throwing the laser bullet at somebody, it would be fine. iTarget Pro is great. I like to shoot, and especially if you saw what was happening with Walmart. They're now starting to pull back ammunition. All of this stuff is going to go through the roof, and it's all going to be tracked. If I may recommend, get giant barrels of ammunition and bury it someplace because it's been lost, and then practice with iTarget Pro, because iTarget Pro is a way for you not to use precious rounds and spend a lot of money. It's a laser bullet. You point it right to the target, and you do it in your house. You point it right to the target, you shoot, it records where it hit on the target on your phone. You're seeing it now. And it's fantastic. It is a great way to shoot and have the what do you call it? The finger control, the trigger control that you really, really need. I love it.
You can get 10% off right now, plus free shipping if you use promo code NEWS. You got to check it out, itargetpro.com, promo code NEWS. Get you your 10% off and free shipping. So the 7-hour grueling climate change debate took place last night.
I want to see the ratings.
Right.
The ratings should be coming out about now. Who watched it? I don't think Anderson Cooper even watched it.
I tried to watch it. I think we lasted 3 minutes.
It's insane.
couldn't do it.
it's literally a caricature. They're like it's literally like a South Park.
The world is
episode.
going to end. I'm not spending 7 hours watching climate change debates.
Right.
I'll just do something better with my time.
What's crazy about it is how much of Agenda 21, a book that I wrote 8 years ago with Harriet Park, it's crazy how much is actually coming true now, where they're saying, oh yeah, we got to control what you eat, your health, control absolutely everything in your life. We're going to get rid of your cars. We're going to get rid of these things. I mean, it is terrifying. We're talking of total control. Total control.
I can't get over how the debate should be versus where the debate is. So the debate should be unfunded liabilities, our crazy national debt, spending, all these different things. But instead, the debate from the second most powerful political party in the country right now is straws and whether we should eat meat or not. What? That's absolutely insane.
Yeah, and I think we have a couple clips of Kamala Harris. She, of course, you mentioned not eating meat. She's a big proponent of not eating meat and also eliminating the filibuster. Watch.
The balance that we have to strike here frankly, is about what government can and should do around creating incentives and then banning certain behaviors. I mean, just to be very honest with you, I love cheeseburgers from time to time, right? I mean, I just do.
Notice there's no applause or laughter.
But there has to be also what we do in terms of creating incentives that we will eat in a healthy way, that we will encourage moderation, and that we will be educated about the effect of our eating habits on our environment. And we have to do a much better job of that, and the government has to do a much better job of that.
So, I mean, I'm just saying you love cheeseburgers. I mean, we all do. I don't know whether
you from time to
try
time,
the
I don't
Beyond
eat them every
Burger,
day,
the Impossible Burger, right? They try, but it's not quite the same. That's my personal opinion. But would you support changing the dietary guidelines?
Yes.
The food pyramid. What people to reduce red meat specifically.
Yes, I would. If they fail to act as President of the United States, I am prepared to get rid of the filibuster to pass a Green New Deal.
A lot to unpack there from dictator Kamala Harris. Glenn.
This is absolutely, and I think I said towards the beginning of the year, things are going to change rapidly. We are not even out of the parking lot yet. The next 5 years, you will, I've said this before, and everybody thought I was crazy. I said there's going to come a day where everything is upside down. What was solid is liquid. You won't understand it and you won't recognize your country. And it took about 10 years for that to really kick in. I'm telling you, in the next 5 years, bigger change is coming and you will not recognize anything. You will not recognize what America even is.
I don't understand how millennials and the younger generation have jumped on board this party. I mean, by just, design, younger people are rebellious, right? They don't like authority. And now they're jumping on board with a party that's like, I want to tell you what your diet should be.
Because they don't think, did you see the comedian Dave Chappelle?
Yeah.
When he did the joke about his audience and he said, who am I? And they were like, Donald Trump. And he said, no, I'm you. Because no one thinks that they're the ones that are going to be affected by it. Oh, I'm responsible. I'm a good eater. I'm healthy. I'm young. I don't have to worry about it. It's all these other people. No. It's all of us. And they don't see that that's going to deeply impact them.
The second thing on that is the filibuster remark. Now, this is actually scary, and it shows you what they want to do. Now, it also shows you what's scary if you get someone radical, like you get a Warren or a Sanders, or I think Biden will chill out later, or a Kamala. If you get them, and if they also take the Senate, but they're not going to get a supermajority in the Senate, but they don't need it, and they're already setting that up. They're going to get rid of things like they're going to go nuclear. They're going to do that because they want to do these hardcore things. So I used to say, it doesn't matter really who the president is because, they're just going to get, our system is designed so that they can't be.
But we're not living our system.
Right. And then we're especially not going to, if they take the Senate, oh my gosh, that's when the country, you won't recognize it. You literally will not recognize it.
It's strange. Do they think they're connecting with voters with this type of talk? I mean, the people that I know and talk to, they aren't dealing with trying to eat an environmentally conscious diet. It's expensive to try to eat Impossible Burgers and vegetarian diet and things like that. Some people are just trying to get by. They don't have time to think about things like this, but they're doing a 7-hour town hall on this issue. And I'm wondering, who's that connecting with? Is that really doing anything for them as far as getting voted into office? And I hope that it's not, honestly, based on what I'm hearing.
I will tell you that I was shocked, absolutely shocked, the change I've seen in Los Angeles. We keep hearing how bad things are and how crazy it is. I'm telling you, there is a fundamental change in the people that I know out in Hollywood that are on the left, okay? And I can't say that they're on the left anymore. I would have, but they are liberals. They're not lefties. And if I heard it once, I heard it 100 times. Are you kidding me? I'm not telling anybody. I'd never vote for a Republican. But look at that field. Yeah. They're insane. I'll vote for Donald Trump.
The problem with the people out in Hollywood, and I worked in that industry for a very long time, is that the sane, ordinary, JFK type, Democrats are cowards. They're absolutely cowards. especially the ones that have any influence. They will not say it.
They won't say it.
The Republicans, I judge them even harsher, and even the Libertarians. They are double cowards, if that's even a thing. You like the thing with the blacklists and all that stuff.
You won't work in that industry.
Oh, you will not.
You won't work in that industry. But I'm telling you, never before. These people, I know one guy who wants to run for, like mayor of LA or something. And he's argued with me on stuff, and there's no way he would ever vote for Donald Trump. He's going to vote for Donald Trump. And he said to me, I'm not saying this to anybody, but if these guys get in, our entire system, our country as we know it is over. I'm like, you should say that out loud to people and lead. And he's like, oh, no, I might as well move to Montana in a cabin.
Will be ruined.
Yeah, my life will be ruined. But there's a groundswell of this kind of talk, as you just said. Who's watching this? It's not connecting. It's only connecting with the revolutionaries. Everybody else is like, shut up.
You almost can't imagine that the candidates saying it really want to be dealing with this type of stuff. Like, they don't want to live like that. They don't want these things to be reality, but they're just making what they think is a political calculation for what they think their party wants or the furthest left of their party wants.
I used to think that. I think these guys know this is not about climate. I mean, climate change. Really? Then why did Barack Obama buy a $14 million house on the beach?
Yeah.
Come on, we got 12. That's a crazy investment for 12 years.
Why does the Green New Deal barely even talk about the climate?
Right.
It's about universal basic income, and
they know this is the death of the free market. That if they can get that through, and I think they don't want to talk about it so much because they know what it's really about, and smart people know what it's really about, and it makes them sound crazy. I'm going to take over all of this industry. They're going to do it not for the climate. They're going to do it for control.
Yeah. Speaking of control, Bernie was out there calling for population control, addressing population control. It's absolutely terrifying. Watch.
Empowering women and educating everyone on the need to curb population growth seems a reasonable campaign to enact. Would you be courageous enough to discuss this issue and make it a key feature of a plan to address climate catastrophe?
Well, Martha, the answer is yes. And the answer has everything to do with the fact that women in the United States of America, by the way, have a right to control their own bodies and make reproductive decisions. And the Mexico City Agreement, which denies American aid to those organizations around the world
is good.
That allow women to have abortions or even get involved in birth control, to me is totally absurd. So I think, especially in poor countries around the world, where women do not necessarily want to have large numbers of babies, and where they can have the opportunity through birth control to control the number of kids they have, something I very, very strongly support.
When you try and, reduce the population of poor people and poor countries and places like that, they have a word for it. It's called eugenics. So eugenics is his platform, basically.
It is amazing to me that the American military is so evil because we're killing people. When they're killing us, okay, and we go and respond, that's evil. But for us to say we're going to spend billions of dollars killing those people's children so they can go, that population can kind of wither out and die. That's insane. That's Margaret Sanger stuff.
Oh, yeah. And the UN has personally been involved, and U.S. money has gone towards some of these programs down in South America where sterilization has actually been their program. I kid you not.
It's just pretty gross when you think about the idea of targeting poor people, so you're targeting weaker people in that sense, and then you're targeting poor people's unborn babies. It's like, how far down the chain can you get? It's like, if you think there's too many people in the world, well, we're all a part of that, but they're just looking, saying, who's the easiest that we can eliminate? And so they're pushing abortion and they're masking it in these ways of, well, we just want to provide birth control or something like that.
This is really dangerous. You listen to this. Now go and read, I think it's the El Paso shooter. Read the manifesto that they wouldn't release. In it, he talks about the only thing we can do, the reason why I'm shooting people, is because the people are too stupid to understand population control. So the only way we can save the earth is if we start killing enough people in America to save the earth. Now, that doesn't sound like Donald Trump to me. That sounds like Bernie Sanders. That's the rhetoric of the left permeating a psychotic mind.
You start getting into what is the logical end of these policies when you say there's too many people, it's population control. Well, suddenly do you start saying you can't have this many kids? You know, where does it go?
Or how about, Bernie's not young.
Right.
How about we just eliminate the old people?
Yeah, that's the next on the totem pole once you get past
better
that.
be careful.
You don't want to do that.
All right, back in a minute.
Think of that. You have to have an Apple Watch so you know you're healthy.
Before we get back into the conversation, I want to thank our sponsor, Relief Factor. Glenn, how you feeling these days?
Feeling good. Been traveling too much,
Yeah.
but feeling good. And Relief Factor has made all the difference in the world. 2 years ago, coming up on Christmas 2 years ago, I was to the point to where I told my wife as we were going away for the holidays, I can't do it anymore. And I don't know what that means, but I can't do it anymore. And you've been with me where I've been plowing through stuff and just couldn't take it. I think you've actually carried me off of a plane at one point because he was part of my security detail. I am not that way anymore. And it's because of Relief Factor. It's not a drug. It actually reduces the inflammation and it works. So if you are somebody who is in lots of pain, you want your life back, please just try the 3-week quick start.
And if you've ever been on Glenn's security telling you have to carry him off the plane, your back is destroyed.
You're going to want Relief Factor as well.
Yeah.
You can get that 3-week quick start. It's $19.95, and 70% of the people who try it go on to keep ordering more. It's worth a shot. You can go to relieffactor.com or call 800-500-8384. We were just talking about population control and how absurd it's all gotten. We're one step closer to brave new world now with what's going on. And Glenn?
I think, I just told Jason that we have to start putting all these disparate pieces together to show you what is being built. Total and complete control. And in China, they call it a social credit score. Here, it will be you have to have the watch to make sure that you're taking your medicine, that you're eating right, that your blood pressure, that you're exercising. So it'll just be a company that is saying, well, you can't have insurance if you don't have the watch. And it'll all be monitored. But it all is going to tie together, and it's all going to be coming back to the government. The most frightening story that I have read, because it's coming from Republicans, the Republican administration. We don't know where Donald Trump stands on this yet, but it's coming from his administration that one way to have gun control is that you have to have an Apple Watch. You either then have to have Google Home or Amazon Echo, and it will listen to the conversations. And if someone seems unstable, then you'll lose your right to a gun. This is insanity. This is why the Second Amendment exists. That's an out of control government. And we are head down all the way, rushing into these arms. These corporations, Google was, helped along financially at the very beginning by the CIA, by the United States government. They gave them a lot of money to help Google start. Why? What are they paying? What are they getting back from it? What they're getting back from it is information. And we know that because of a protest that happened at Google just a few weeks ago when their employees were protesting and saying the Google employees saying Google should not be giving the information about illegals that are here to the United States government. Nobody in the press said anything other than there's protests and that's, rah, Google. Wait a minute. They're providing information about where people are. They have always said they don't do that. We're becoming so dead and so numb because our life is so easy. We are we are walking up to Google like this. Just put the handcuffs on me right now. And I'm telling you, I was in Los Angeles. I had a great conversation with some very high-tech, Silicon Valley people, and they understand, and we don't, but they understand. This is total and complete control, and no one is talking about it. And if we don't say right now what we will accept and what we will not accept, we'll all accept it. It's like when you go to a bar and you're going to meet your boyfriend or your girlfriend, and you haven't decided if you want to have sex or not. If you're a guy, at least, and you haven't thought it through, and she's ready to go, you're going to go because it feels good and it's great, and what's the problem? You have to decide beforehand when you get into a relationship, these are my standards. This is how far I will go, and I won't go any further. You still have the chance of breaking that, but you absolutely are going to plow right through it if you haven't thought it through first. We're not thinking any of this technology through first.
We don't even know what we've signed up for. We don't read the terms and conditions. Nope. We don't know what we're accepting every time we update our phones. And we're in a position where, what do? Our kids have to use technology. We have to use technology. If you don't, you're not a functional member of society. So you feel kind of trapped because you know that you're pushing yourself further into this problem, but you also don't know, how do I get out and still function in society without being disconnected?
I urge this audience, and we talked about it 2 days ago, I urge you to look up BCI. It's brain-computer interface, okay? It is within a year of human trials. It is coming. And we've talked about kind of with Elon Musk and his brain probes. Zuckerberg is behind a lot of this. And they can now take your neurons, right? And they can read your neurons, and the algorithm changes that into a word. So they can actually read your mind. What's worse is not only can they read it, they can also write. So they can nudge you and write it. This sounds like science fiction. Nobody will look into it because, oh, that's crazy. That'll never happen. We'd never go for it. I'm telling you, it's BCI. It's happening right now. And you have to decide right now, because you just had the administration, a conservative administration, say, you know what, let's just have Apple or Google monitor people at home, and the watch can monitor all their vitals and see if they're getting too stressed out, and we'll take their guns away.
Jason, we got about a minute.
You could never say the joke anymore. Oh, crap, did I say that out loud? Because, yes, you probably did say it out loud if the algorithm's making you say it. I was reading through that as well. They talked about the using Google, using Facebook, using Amazon, all these other companies. So basically, any social media post, you said, "Oh my gosh, I could kill my boss today," or whatever. Completely sarcastic. But that would get something like that would flag you as being unstable. Red flag law. Go grab his guns. I always wondered how in the world would they be able to even get the government's intertwined with these companies like that. And I remembered it was a congressional committee that they broadcasted. It was about the deep fakes and AI. And I kept wanting to, I think I was watching it for you and taking notes, and I kept wanting to hear a lot about that. They didn't get into the specifics hardly at all. The only thing the legislators wanted to talk about was the Decency Act, Section 230. They kept saying, yes, but how would we be able to modify that? Okay, yes, but if we wanted to get involved, what would we do? This is kind of scaring me because I see also the social media companies, the big tech companies, inviting government regulation.
Because not only are they inviting it, they'll want to do, if it means taking guns off the streets, they will absolutely partner. They're encouraging partnership right now. They will partner because it's good for the world.
And they know that they can't survive without that protection, without that platform protection. They cannot survive. They're coming head to head. They will be intertwined.
Yeah. All right, back in a minute.
What did the chalkboard that I wrote? Remember? I said you're going to.
In case you missed it earlier in the show, reminder, big news over here at Blaze TV. The Rubin Report is now coming to Blaze TV.
You'll have
Dave Rubin.
You'll have not only access to his shows before everybody else, but you also have his complete library coming soon.
That is huge. And wait a second, but Dave Rubin's alt-right,
Yeah.
right? So why do we have him? He's alt-right.
Right.
Just kidding, Dave. Don't forget, Overtime is starting right now. You can only see it at blazetv.com.